Hey guys, welcome back to more Astrea's Broken Heart, and we're playing episode 3. I can't put the story down, so I'm recording another episode right after I just recorded an episode. I'm very intrigued. It's making me go through the emotions. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I just wanted to play another one, so here we are. Episode 3, A Matter of Trust. Warning, this episode contains graphic descriptions of violence. Please read on with caution. If there's any path that could lead someone to madness, a sleepless night is definitely one. Oh, yes. Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm like, I just gotta get to sleep because I know, in just like 2 minutes, my daughter is gonna wake me up. Like, Mom, is it wake up time? No, it's not. Please go back to sleep. In an attempt to find a logical explanation for Raphael's words, Melody considered all the possibilities she could think of. Tomorrow, she will die. If his father doesn't answer him? And who is going to die anyway? He could have been a metaphorical death, like the death of hope. Pressure slowly built up in her chest from her anxious thoughts, making her breathing tight, but Melody couldn't voice or even consider the most frightening of them. The world doesn't revolve around me. Raphael could have been talking about anyone, though that hardly makes it any better. At some point, her decision to live under the same roof as these complete strangers began to feel poorly thought out. But the first tentative rays of sunshine calmed her feverish mind and took away all her nightmares. Everything I imagined was just that, my imagination. And if I want to know the truth, I will have to ask Raphael directly. I probably shouldn't, once again, go on asking people questions about things that you should never have overheard or overseen. Melody's lack of sleep had rewarded her with a migraine. Oof. She felt like her thoughts just couldn't fit inside of her head anymore. Her skull throbbed, all the questions and worries threatening to tear her apart. Why am I so nervous? It's not like I haven't encountered scarier things over the course of my career. Raphael's room was quiet, and no one responded to her persistent knocking on the door. I'm the only one acting strange right now. Melody checked the kitchen, then the living room. There was no one in either place. The mansion possessed the most unusual trait. If its residents weren't actively seeking you out, it was nearly impossible to find them yourself. Giving up on running into anybody at all, Melody decided to stop by Mikhail's office. Although she didn't find anyone inside, she was relieved to see the lit screen of his laptop and a fragrant cup of coffee on his desk. This means Mikhail was here not too long ago, and since it looks like the coffee is freshly brewed, he should be back soon. Her headache just wouldn't go away. Melody decided that if Mikhail would forgive her if she just waited for him in his office instead of the corridor. Melody sat down in one of the armchairs and rested the back of her head against the cool leather. How should I start this conversation? Say that I'm worried. Start from the beginning. Say that Raphael's behavior worries me. I could say that I'm worried, because we've noticed he's sad. That's pretty obvious to everybody, right? Yeah. He didn't look too good yesterday morning. And if I lead with that, it wouldn't even be a lie. Melody listened to the wind outside the window and closed her eyes. As soon as she made up her mind, a wave of fatigue washed over her. The swarming, itchy thoughts thankfully left her mind. Giving way to silence, Melody dozed off. At some point, she heard distant, soft footsteps through the haze of half-sleep. They felt like part of a dream at first, but then Melody realized that there was someone standing right next to her. Looks like Mikhail is back. Pretend to be asleep. Gradually, Melody came to, but she was in no hurry to open her eyes. She had a strange, inexplicable desire to see what Mikhail would do next. Probably shake your shoulder, be like, hello, do you need help? Melody was sure that she was standing just a few steps away from her. She smelled the faint, citrusy freshness of his scent and heard a quiet rustling nearby. Let's listen to the music, it's interesting. Melody was expecting him to reach out to her or call her name, but instead she was covered with a soft blanket. That's adorable. How am I supposed to open my eyes without arousing suspicion now? Do I yawn theatrically and stretch? The feeling of safety and comfort saved her from that dilemma. Her headache had subsided, and now Melody had to fight off her drowsiness. Does putting the blanket on me mean that he doesn't mind my presence? Her mind was suspended between wakefulness and slumber, and with the pain gone, Melody finally relaxed. Then she heard the muffled sound of a chair being moved, followed by the gentle clicking of a keyboard. All the sounds and smells that filled the room seeped into her dream. She watched the way Mikhail typed with his graceful fingers, how he glanced at her when the sounds went quiet and he took a sip of coffee. She admired him openly, as one could only do in a dream. Then everything faded away, leaving only a faint scent of lemon. Melody couldn't tell exactly how much time had passed before she felt the light touch of a cool hand against her forehead. A touch so gentle that it seemed to be nothing more than a continuation of her dream. And what a pleasant continuation it was, so chaste and brief. She didn't want to part with the feeling at all. Instead, she wanted to press her cheek against the hand and to keep enjoying its soothing coolness. Then she felt the touch again, this time from thin fingers instead of a palm. They affectionately brushed a stray strand of hair from her face. And this time, Melody was more cunning. Even half asleep, she caught the graceful hand in her own. She got what she wanted and nuzzled against her prize. Melody? His quiet, gentle voice made its way into her dream. They intertwined, creating a subtle image of the voice's owner. Long blonde hair, a stern gaze, a sly smile. Melody wished that the hand would be a bit more bold and make the dream a little more interesting. And then a guest from her dream obliged. The thumb stroked her cheek and goosebumps ran down her body, sobering her. Melody opened her eyes and saw Mikhail crouched beside her chair. What are you doing? He clearly wasn't embarrassed, having her cheek pressed against his hand, though for the same could not be said for Melody. The rest of the dream quickly dissipated as if she had been doused with a bucket of ice water. I'm sorry, you've been asleep for so long. I was starting to worry you had a fever. Mikhail didn't try to pull his hand away. Instead, he observed her reaction with a slight smile. No, I'm the one who should apologize. Having come to her senses, Melody let go of his hand. Unsure where to put her own, she clutched the blanket. I didn't sleep much last night. I should have gotten myself in order before coming here. Did something happen? Mikhail sat so close that she had trouble focusing. Did I really grab his hand like that? He was so stately and collected, but he sat there so casually, here, right in front of her, looking her in the eyes. Did he lean in to brush the hair from my forehead? Melody found herself unable to make a sound, so she just shook her head. Sensing her embarrassment, Mikhail stood and went over to the desk. I just wanted to talk to you, nothing more. Sitting in his chair and folding his hands together, Mikhail watched Melody with a serious expression. So, what did you want to talk about? I wanted to talk about Raphael. Though his expression didn't change, she could feel the sudden shift in his mood. I'm listening. Okay. About the faith. I don't want to offend Raphael or hurt his feelings, but I think he needs help. What kind of help do you think he needs? I'd like to just talk to him first. You see, yesterday I overheard Raphael calling for help. He was obviously talking to himself, but it seemed like he was actually waiting for an answer. Mikhail didn't appear surprised to hear this at all. I suspect he was trying to talk to our father. Our father? Are y'all related? Your? Our father disappeared, and all our attempts to find him have been unsuccessful. I suspect he simply doesn't want to see us. I'm sorry. This is difficult for Raphael to accept. I believe he is in the denial stage right now. And I think you're better suited to explaining his behavior than I am. Okay, that explains why he's talking to himself, but it doesn't explain why he said someone was going to die. Still, he seems to be rather uneasy, and he has some pretty dark thoughts. Raphael is a very sensitive soul, but the truth is that he doesn't want to share his worries, not even with me. I'm not trying to push my services here, it's just... What exactly did he say? Why do I have the feeling that I shouldn't have started this conversation? I should have brought this up with David. He sensed blood that someone would die today. He asked his father to answer him. If we go with the story that says that we heard him calling for help, then we could say he asked his father to help him. I don't know if we should go into the whole thing, especially now that I know that they're related. It's probably very protective of him. So, kind of admitting that we were just kind of listening in on that. I feel like we should be cautious, especially with the way that we gathered the information. I'm kind of hesitant to be like, oh, hey, here's, you know, let's go with this one. I understand that you want to help, but unfortunately you will not be able to heal his pain. He misses his father, and I'm here talking about him behind his back. You're a good person, Melody, and Raphael will be glad to know that you care about him. But it's not worth it, believe me. Mikhail would not tell Raphael that you overheard him. See? He would have told him before. I feel like that would have been very bad. Obviously, we're spying on him. What the heck? And then should save that conversation for him. Lord. Now tell me, did David manage to persuade you to join him this evening? Unexpected change of subject took Melody by surprise. Yes? Would you like to come with us? I'm afraid I won't be comfortable in the sorts of places David enjoys. Now I'm curious about the kind of places you prefer. If you're that interested, I'll be happy to show you next time. Okay. In the meantime, I would like to give you something. Mikhail took a small box from the desk and handed it to her. Wow, it's so beautiful. Why is he giving me jewelry? Child. Also, an interesting thing I've noticed, there's been like a certain theme of red in like her clothing options. There's been like accents of red, like a red coat or something that just pops up out of nowhere. It's almost like that's just her color. And it's interesting. Usually that they kind of branch off into different colors, but there's been definitely like a lot of red in the clothing, and I wonder if that was like intentional or what have you. Okay, let's go for this one. Oh, that was skill related. I wonder what the 21 gives you. I'll try that on a different save file. It's the symbol of our organization. Molly turned it over in her hands. I've heard this rose has many meanings. Which one do you use? Sub rosa, which means under the rose in Latin. The ending image of the story has like a bunch of like roses around. You probably can see it on the background I have up here. So it's interesting that they're bringing this up, and also that we give something like that. Look, what's the purpose? Why is he giving me this? In ancient Rome, anything that took place in rooms strewn with rose petals was considered confidential. Our symbol is a symbol of silence. Keeping your mouth shut. I see. Seems like gifts come packed with extra meaning around here. Melody nodded, smiling sweetly. If I manage to allay your fears and you're willing to continue working with us, then I dare not keep you any longer. See, you just told me to keep silent about what I see in here. I don't know if that goes so well into allaying my fears, to be honest. Even the hints they drop around here aren't subtle. Clutching a gift box in her hand, Melody said goodbye to Mikhail and went back to her room. Okay. All these people have some interesting thought process. Melody spent the rest of the day shopping online. Running away with a single bag and leaving your old life behind was exciting, but it also meant heading into a fresh start without the essentials. How could I have left without a charger? Girl! Eventually, evening rolled around and the David came up with a pile of colorful outfits. Stop bringing me clothes. He tactfully knocked on the door, waited exactly 1 second, and then burst into the room without waiting for an answer. I'm guessing I didn't lock it. Well, at least he knocked. What kind of couriers hang out in the yard all day, little witch? Good evening to you too, David. The couriers are helping me stay here longer by bringing me the things I need. That's great news. But I hope they didn't bring you a dress because you promised to wear whatever I picked out for you. I promised? Take a look before getting all sarcastic on me. David gave her his usual wink and he dumped the pile on the bed. I'll come pick you up in an hour, witch. What is up with the witch? David was almost out of the door when Melody suddenly jumped out of bed. David, wait! David slowly walked back, his eyes narrowed slightly. Invited back in already? Oh, how my mind fills with wonderful speculation. Have you seen Raphael today? Now, that's an unexpected question. No, why? Are you trying to make me jealous? Yes, did it work? It worked. Did it? Get ready, dear witch, or we'll miss all the fun. David closed the door behind him and left. What year was it the last time I went to a club? Maybe unwinding is actually a good idea? Okay, let's see. Not bad. And to do something special with my hair. Okay, it wouldn't hurt to freshen up my makeup either. Oh. Okay. Should I try different makeup? Nope. Impressively punctual, David returned exactly 1 hour later. He stood still in the doorway, shamelessly looking her up and down, admiring her curves. Is everything alright? Hush. Everything is too good. Give me a minute to recover. Oh my gosh, get out of here. Come on, you have to recover on the way. Gallantly, David offered his hand and led Melody away from the mansion. The club was crowded with all sorts of people. Someone was trying to convince the bouncer to let them in, but the stern man wouldn't budge. You're already drunk. Go home and sleep it off. So you lost your passport and decided to celebrate that at the club? Melody's mood immediately sank. She didn't want to stand in line with the cold and argue with security. But David deftly navigated the crowd and went straight to the entrance. David, I haven't seen you in a while. I had no reason to come, my friend. In that case, I'm glad you finally found one. And a beautiful one at that. Welcome, miss. Okay. The person in the background. In her years as a student, Melody didn't get to unwind often, and when she did, she used to prefer to spend her free evenings in less crowded places. Clubs always seemed too loud, bright, and stuffy to her. But this one wasn't like that at all. Are you sure? It looks like that to me. It was dimly lit, and low music seemed designed to create an intimate atmosphere. Women in revealing outfits writhed like snakes as they cast their predatory, languid glances around. Those who had already found marks wrapped their arms around their victims, intent and gentle all at once. What an interesting place. Seems to suit David. I think I'm starting to understand what McKellar meant before. I definitely am at that. It's definitely not for more refined taste. I'm in between these first two. Okay. I'm always curious to know where my colleagues spend their free time. And if I relax, maybe I'll like it here too. Do you come here often? That depends on your definition of often. She didn't get a chance to respond before a pretty woman walked up and took him by the hand. David, where have you been? We missed you so much. Not as much as I missed you, my dear. I can tell. You always find a reason to leave us so sad and alone. Melody felt a heavy, appraising gaze on her and then met it with a defiant raise of her brow. You got a problem? Are you going to ask the reason's name? How bold. It suits you. Indeed. We'll see. Well, I won't interfere. If you need me, you know where to find me, honey. The parting wave, the woman walked off and David headed for the bar. What an interesting woman. Charlotte owns this club. Everything is free for us here, so order whatever you want and as much as you like. What will I have? Oh, it's so cute! It's cute. I like it. Great, I'll be right back. David disappeared into the thirsty crowd and then Melody felt like she was being watched. A young man seemed to have been waiting for David to leave. As soon as he was out of sight, the stranger approached and leaned against the bar next to her. Hey there. The man's eyes looked a little glassy, but he didn't seem drunk. Hello. Can I help you with something? I haven't seen you here before. Do you come here often enough to know that? I haven't been here before. Looked around quickly, then moved even closer. Want to have some fun? Not with you getting that close to me. No. No, I'm already having plenty of fun. Not giving up, the man moved much closer and tried to put a hand on her, but she gently pulled away. A little slow, aren't you? A little desperate, aren't you? I think I'm being very clear. Do I have to get you a drink first? I'm definitely not taking a drink from you. Melody felt her patience wearing thin. The last thing I need right now is to get into a fight with some random guy. I already told you no. You don't know where you're giving up. I think I have a pretty good idea, and I'm not missing much. I can take you to the VIP room. How about I take you to the VIP room? David appeared behind him with glasses in his hands. Are you looking to get hurt? Shooting her one last angry look, the man immediately backed away. I guess I'm out of practice when it comes to dealing with overly persistent men. Can't leave you alone for a minute. After thanking David for the drink, no, literally, couldn't. 1 minute he was gone. Dude swooped in like a psycho. After thanking David for the drink and his help, Melody glanced out the dance floor. There, more and more people were eagerly immersing themselves in the thick, sensual atmosphere. It felt like the presence was drawing her to the dance floor. Would you like to dance? A youthful sparkle appeared in David's eyes, along with a clear, burning desire for her to say yes. This could be interesting. Why do I feel like it's more intimate than I mean for it to be? I kind of like feel like we might be getting to the point where it's like we need to make a choice. or something. I don't know. And like I said, David's not it for me. uh, you know what? We'll see if it's just dancing. It's probably a lot of flirting included with the dancing, but you know. With a sly smile, David motioned for her to follow him to the center of the dance floor. He reached out for her. Should I restart the episode? Oh, Lord. He reached out for her. She gracefully avoided his hand, decided to tease him by dancing alone. You can lick, but you can't touch. And Melody put all her grace into it, dedicating every move to her charming partner, and he immediately understood what she was up to. Seducing David was incredibly fun. He eagerly joined the game, encouraging her every move with an admiring look. Melody arched her neck gracefully and drew an invisible line with her fingertips from her chin to her collarbone. She swayed her hips to the beat of the music, smoothly, carefully, almost innocently. Melody felt at this very moment she had undeniable power over the grinning young man's gaze. David obediently followed her every move, taking in every inch of her body where her seductive hand pointed. She wanted to lead his eyes even further, to have him look where no one normally could. Slowly, Melody led his gaze lower. She traced her chest and lingered, allowing him to enjoy the view. Then she slid her hand along her waist and down to her hips. His voice sounded like a warning, an attempt to remind her that sometimes games can be taken too far. Melody liked being on the edge. It's been so long since I did anything fun. I always was a strict doctor. Well, I'm not a doctor anymore. She wanted to lose herself even more, and Melody was sure that he wanted to help her do just that. She flirtatiously slid a hand over David's shoulder. She gently stroked his forearm, grabbed his hand, and pulled him into her space, letting him join the dance. Interesting. Guess that was the hair that they intended to go with his outfit. She didn't have to tell him twice. His greedy hands clasped her waist and pulled her even closer. Hot breath brushed against her neck, and the huskiness of his voice made her dizzy. I know what you want. Really. I don't remember sharing anything like that with you. You don't have to say a thing. One look by the bar, my dear, which was enough for me. You can tell what women want without them saying anything. You're a real find. Trust me, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. I only have one flaw. Overconfidence? David touched the tip of his nose to her cheek and stopped a hair's breadth away from her lips. His heavy, deep breathing tickled her skin, but David did not cross the line, and it was difficult to tell if he was just playing around or burning with the same desire as her. It's impossible to get enough of me. Moving a little closer, Melody kept her lips a breath away from his and whispered, "Then it's a good thing that I won't try." Smiling, she moved back, but didn't break away from David's hold. A shadow of regret crossed his face, even as his hands grasped her waist a little tighter. It's the bitter truth, my dear little witch. How else would you and I continue to work together? It'd be terrible, but so much fun. It seemed like David had no intention of letting go of her, even though they had long since stopped dancing. The music, the people, everything fading into a distant background. Melody wondered what he would do next and tried to ignore her own desires. Oh my God, Melody, get a grip. Their conversation didn't last long. A loud scream sounded from the depths of the club. Seriously, that was loud in my ear. David immediately stood between Melody and the corridor where the scream came from. Okay, that's cute. It's a nice little detail. That's actually pretty cute. What's going on? Let's find out. David's agitated friend ran out of the hall, spotted him, and quickly approached them. I called Felonia. We have a problem. How serious is it? Very. Let's go. There was no trace of playful woman they met earlier. What happened? Do you need help? Path of high reputation. I should probably take you home. She doesn't look like a pampered young lady, David. We don't have time anyway. Let's go. Everyone. I'm guessing they wouldn't be interested in your help if you were on low reputation. After walking down a corridor with dozen doors, Melody found herself in a small room with no windows. Something in the room smelled awful, though it was difficult to pinpoint its source. Apparently, someone had used an entire can of pine-scented air freshener to cover up the stench. All it did was give her a headache. Private rooms? No, I see why Mikhail had mixed feelings about this place. A wide bed covered with a crumpled, bright red sheet immediately caught her eye. The floor was littered with dirty paper towels. Melody quickly turned away. Disgusting. I'll have to start carrying gloves with me. A woman was huddled in the corner, sobbing and staring down at the ground. Something bad had to have happened to her. Melody crouched down beside her and looked into her tearful eyes. Hey there. What's your name? The woman sobbed softly as she watched David move around the room. He sniffed the air like a bloodhound and paid her no mind. The bed is more important than a person in distress now? Emma? Oh, she was saying her name. Her soft voice cracked and she fell silent again. To try and get her to talk. Let's definitely not touch her. Okay? She needs some space. Introduce yourself, ask questions. So, if we're thinking about faith versus skepticism, probably introduce ourselves. My name is Melody. I'm a doctor, and I'm gonna help you, okay? Oh, and reputation. Finally, turning away from David, the woman nodded. Okay. I regret ever coming here. Emma, listen to me. It's not your fault. Whatever happened here, it's not your fault. No, it is. Barb told me I shouldn't come here, but I kept insisting. Everyone back on campus talked about how cool this club is. The woman clutched a pendant hanging around her neck and pressed it to her heart. Is Barb your friend? My little sister. Oh, it's like two parts of a heart. Does Barb have the other one? We're almost never apart. Just to prove her point, Emma unclenched her fist and revealed half of a silver heart. Is she in the club now? Yeah. Good, a loved one. That's exactly what you need right now. But is Barb okay? We should have been home by now. I promised my parents that we'd be back by midnight, and we're already terribly late. Father's gonna kill us both. I'll bring your sister here. Just tell me where to find her. Emma nodded fearfully in David's direction. Melody turned around, not quite sure what she meant. Only did she notice a blood-stained hand peeking out from under the bed. That's what I thought. Let's wait for Fel. I don't think she'll be happy if we got started without her. Is she... Have you checked her pulse? Trying to keep her voice down, Melody glanced at Emma, but David obviously had no interest in sparing the young one's feelings. She's dead. Can you please wake her up? We really have to go. Oh my god, she's in shock. Was it the creepy psycho guy? He's my first suspect. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Stranger Things. And Justice for Barb. When Nancy dragged her out to that party and then Barb died. Oh my god. No. Poor Barb. Oh my gosh. Alright. Her blood pressure shot up so much that it made her head throb. Her ears, too, were ringing. Overcoming her fear, Melody stood and forced out a semblance of a smile. Let's get you out of here. Emma, David will wake your sister up. She drank a lot, didn't she? Glad that someone was supporting her attempt to escape reality, Emma obediently stood and, swaying slightly, took Melody's outstretched hand. Barb doesn't drink at all, and she goes to church. I'm the wild one in our family. Barb is the pride of our parents. I hope she doesn't get into trouble. She told me we shouldn't come here. And now she's repeating herself. Oh my gosh. In the corridor, Felonia was already rushing toward them, followed by a couple of doctors and a tall man in uniform. Glancing at Emma, she asked sternly and briefly, Where? Melody pointing to the right door, she handed Emma over to the doctors. Tried to convince them to give Emma a sedative right away. How horrible. Felonia ordered the nurses to keep an eye on the patient until she arrived at the hospital. Then she went into the room. Melody stood still, her eyes fixed on Emma. The young woman followed the doctor absently, like puppet. A sudden realization struck Melody. While David and I were dancing under the spotlight, someone was killing a girl just a few feet away. So what would happen if you weren't dancing? Unwilling to stand there alone, Melody started to head back to the room. Charlie walked past her and waved tiredly without turning around. Come on, we need to gather everyone in one place. The police have closed off all the exits. As soon as the lights come on, people will try to flee like cockroaches. I'll go to where David is. Charlotte stopped. She arched a skeptical eyebrow, but didn't argue. She was too tired. Your choice, but they've already taken the bed away. It's not the most pleasant sight. The following premature contains detailed descriptions of murder and violence. Please read with care. Oh my gosh. A policeman with yellow tape was blocking the entrance. He stood there a while and then walked past her without asking any questions, likely to fence off the whole corridor with tape. Trying not to attract attention, Melody entered the room and stopped in the doorway. The bed had been lifted and placed against the wall. In its place, a very young woman lay on the floor in a pool of blood. A wave of nausea immediately began to rise in Melody's throat. David knelt over the corpse and looked into her glassy eyes with interest. Felonia stood with her back to the door, her lips pressed into a thin line. Melody couldn't come any closer. Instead, she involuntarily stepped back, obscuring the terrible sight. The victim's blouse was torn and a pool of blood formed around a strange wound on her chest. The smell of burning flesh is pretty distinct. If your girlfriend had better security in this place, none of this would have happened. Relax, Belle. Charlie does thorough checks on people she doesn't know personally. How stupid do you have to be to trust anyone but yourself? It's okay. Some trust issues there. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that a soldering iron was stuck into her club. This can even be done with a simple lighter. You think he worked on this for a whole hour? Melody stared in disbelief, first at David, then at Felonia. Are we seeing the same thing? How are they so calm about this? She's a police officer, honey. I mean, she's not calm. I mean, you see the expression on her face? She's very tense. And once again, this is probably part of their job, you know? How long was she bleeding out in here? That's what you have to tell us tomorrow. Felonia's face contorted in anger. I'm not your dog. Whatever you say. David straightened up and dusted off his suit, losing all interest in the body. I hope this isn't what I think it is. I'm sure that it is. Where's Raphael? At home? And he was there all day? Spent the whole day playing his violin. I enjoyed his beautiful music. Okay, I want him to check on something. Who is he lying to, me or her? Yeah, because we didn't hear him at home playing the music. Well, I guess maybe his room? It has, I don't know. But if we could hear him talking through his room, then the room is not soundproofed. Then we would have heard him playing music when we went to go and visit his room. So he was not at home playing the music. But I don't think he did this. And I'll talk to him tomorrow. Good girl. Can you stop treating her like a dog? You're being awfully rude. We'll be waiting for you. Like, I don't know what their relationship is. All I'm saying is, it's being a little obnoxious right now. Felonia extended her hand to David, and he shook it for exactly 1 second. You can call your puppies in a couple of minutes. I'll just take... What's up with the dog? Dude. Did she do something to you? You can call your puppies in a couple of minutes. I'll just take a photo of the mark and go. Felonia grimaced and quickly turned around. Melody moved over a bit to let Felonia pass, but the latter stopped suddenly. Melody, right? Yes. We haven't been introduced. I'm Fel. She didn't know if pleasantries were appropriate at a time like this, so Melody just nodded curtly. How are you holding up? I didn't expect her to care. Alright, I guess. What about you? Leaving the question unanswered, Fel awkwardly adjusted the straps of her holster. Thank you for helping to get her sister out. It felt like Felonia wanted to say something else, but couldn't bring herself to. Don't linger around. I'll get forensics in here. Once Felonia was out of earshot, David came out of the room. How are you holding up? I'm fine. Ready to head home? Yes. So strange. The moment I leave this club, my life will go on like normal. Well, for that girl's family, their life as they've known it has ended here. I'd like to visit Emma sometime. Can we do that? Surprised by the question, David shrugged. Sure, if you want. Felonia will stop by tomorrow, and you can ask her how to go about doing that. The heavy weight on her heart lightened just a little, and Melody followed David out. The clubgoers gathered on the dance floor were upset that they weren't allowed to leave. For some reason, the police let her and David through without any questions. Melody wanted to forget everything that had happened that night more than anything. But before they entered the mansion, David stopped and asked again if she was alright. She really wanted to ask him the same thing in return, but found she couldn't bring herself to say anything. He was zero empathy for the deceased. He's like a doctor who has seen death so many times that he hardly feels it anymore. But even such a gruesome murder doesn't faze him at all? Would you like me to get you something to drink? I wouldn't mind calming my nerves, but you know, I'd rather be alone right now. I understand. The sitting room is at your disposal. I won't bother you. But Melody found no privacy there. Cassiel was hunched over at the bar. It's like you're stalking me. I can leave. She had no energy for sarcasm or bickering. Cassiel responded in kind. He turned away and muttered, Stay. Melody sat down sallying next to him and looked at the glass he was holding. What are you drinking? Something to get me drunk. Perfect. Cassiel didn't ask any more questions. Instead, he leaned over the bar and took out a clean glass. He poured some amber liquid into it and gently pushed it toward her. Thank you. Cassiel peered into her face without shame, as if trying to find the answer to his questions. Melody stared stubbornly ahead, but with each passing second, she became more and more aware of his gaze. You're about to say something like, I told you this job wasn't for you, I swear. It's too late for that. So what happened? Melody looked at him. Melody clenched the glass in her hand so hard that it felt like it might shatter. I thought Astrea would be a clean slate, but before I could even do anything, it's been stained with blood again. You were at the club, weren't you? Yes. What happened there? A young woman was brutally murdered. The murderer mutilated her body, burned some kind of mark on her chest, and stuffed her under the bed. God, she was just a kid. Her older sister barely looks over 20. The words had a strange effect on Cassiel. They pulled him closer and made his breathing pick up. A mark? What kind of mark? What kind of mark? She wanted to scream at him to make him realize that that wasn't the right thing to ask in the situation. That this was about a lost life, not mutilated flesh. A girl was killed right under our noses. Nothing but a flimsy door separated us, and if anyone had opened it, if they had only heard. But Cassio was apparently no longer listening. I need to talk to David. He was about to get up and leave, but her unexpected question forced him to sit down again. Why are all of you like this? Why don't you care at all? Melody stared at the patch of gray in Cassio's hair. She did so openly, brazenly, the way Cassio always looked at others. You think I don't understand? Locking away your heart in an iron shell because of old pain isn't the solution. The heart has to beat. Melody wanted someone else to hurt too, and she succeeded. What do you know? You read a few texts and listen to some lectures at university and suddenly everyone around you is an open book? Have you decided that we're heartless just because we don't crown each other soldiers? Are you measuring everyone according to some stupid psychoanalyst chart? A painful lump formed in her throat. She realized he was right. I'm a worthless doctor. I was unable to recognize the signs of schizophrenia in my own patient. What do I even know? The tension of the evening finally burst from her heart, flooding through her. Unable to contain her pent-up emotions any longer, Melody dropped her head into her hands and began to sob. Faces flashed before her eyes, pleading with her, condemning her. Emma, her patient, the monster from the basement, her parents. They were all begging for help, and she couldn't give it to them. All my attempts at atonement are doomed to fail. At that moment, she didn't care that she was breaking down. She didn't even care that the last person she wanted to see her cry was witnessing it. There's a maniac wandering around, stuffing girls' corpses under beds, and I can't even get my act together. How can I help this world? Suddenly, a large, coarse hand landed on her shoulder. Cassio pulled her close, easy and familiar, as though he had done it hundreds of times. And Melody was in such dire need of support that she accepted the gesture without question. Pressing herself against his broad chest, Melody unconsciously clung to his shirt. She gripped the fabric until it creased, but Cassio only pulled her closer. Forgive me. I'm sorry. At that moment, Melody forgave him for everything, even though she didn't really know why he was asking for it. She desperately wanted to tell him that she didn't mind him being a little rude, but the endless tears kept her from speaking. When no more tears could come, Melody carefully pulled away. Sorry, but I need to talk to David. Yes, of course. He hesitated for a moment, looking caught between staying and leaving. Then he looked into her eyes once more. Go ahead, I'll be fine. Cassio finished his drink and left the room without another word. Good. Solitude brought no relief. All her fears, doubts, and memories began to fill the silence with their incessant whispering. I should get some fresh air. I'll sit by Astrea's statue. Maybe a miracle will happen and she will help me calm down. Leaving her drink untouched, Melody got up and ran to the garden. Trying to ignore her unwanted thoughts, she pulled the heavy door open and ran to equally lost Raphael. Oh, sorry. Something small fell from the man's hands and rolled to her feet with a soft clinking sound. Sorry, did I startle you? Judging by the look on Raphael's face, he was the one who needed comforting. Where's he been all day? No, I'm fine. Melody went to pick up the dropped item and froze. It was a silver pendant in the shape of half a heart. Thank you. Raphael carefully took the pendant from her and hastily stuffed it into his pocket. This is too ridiculous to be true. I seem to have missed Cassio. He went to talk to David. Thank you. I'll go then, shall I? It sounded like he was asking for her permission, but she couldn't say anything. Where did he get the exact same necklace as Emma? Felinia's words immediately came to mind. Why did she ask David where Raphael was? And more importantly, why did he lie? Nodding uncertainly, Melody walked carefully around him. It was only when she was at the door of her bedroom that she realized she had gone the wrong way. Oh my god, I wanted to go to the garden. Melody went back to the stairs and listened. She could hear muffled voices in the distance. Cassiel, Raphael, Mikhail, David. Melody recognized each of their voices. They were all in an intense discussion about something, but she couldn't make out what it was. Some part of the team I am. They're having a meeting without me. Melody went down to the first floor and stopped close by the door to Mikhail's office. Now she could hear them all more clearly, from Mikhail's stern voice to Raphael's quiet tones. As expected, they weren't fazed by the girl's death. We need to review all the old cases, to make sure we didn't miss anything. Didn't Felonia destroy them? We haven't given them back to her since that time. I put the box in your bedroom. Have a look in your spare time, maybe you'll find something. Okay, but I don't think I missed anything. Then why is our bloodhound so eager to meet with you? This isn't the first murder like this? What does it all mean? Okay. But if they're trying to review cases, it means that they're not assuming that Raphael did it. Which just means this is not a pattern for him. And he's the appraiser. He looks at old objects and he studies them. So maybe it's part of his supernatural thing to be able to maybe have an object and sort of visualize what happened if he has it. That is what he said. He's not exactly what he said he did, but that would explain why he had that object, because something was very close to her. So maybe he's able to figure something out from having it. And if they're trying to review the cases, then yeah, it seems like they're definitely not involved in the murder itself. I mean, obviously we know David is not, because he was with us at the time. And if Felonia knows about similar cases that they've done in the past, so, I mean... I doubt she would be working with people who were murderers. Okay. So all of that being said... all that being said, I still don't know. Okay. I don't think they're... This isn't a horror movie. Everything has an explanation. There's no point in speculating. I have to get a look at those old cases. There's no time to agonize or wrestle with her conscience. Their meeting could end at any moment. Trying to walk silently, Melody returned to the second floor, just in case she knocked softly on Raphael's bedroom door. She waited a moment before turning the handle. Deep down, Melody didn't want to see anything personal of his, or anything that Raphael wouldn't want to show to uninvited guests, except there was nothing of the sort. So... empty. Melody closed the door behind her and looked around. I felt like there would be more personal items in a hotel room than here. The dull colors, the furniture, the atmosphere, and not a single little trinket that could characterize its owner. It looks like a cell. No wonder he spends his time in the living room instead of here. This room is very depressing. Forgetting the purpose of her visit for a moment, Melody approached the desk. There was a cardboard box on the chair. There was a thin diary and a pencil on the desk next to it. It was as though these were the only objects in the room. Resisting the temptation to look elsewhere, Melody opened the box. But it was just like this in the closet and bathroom too. First thing she noticed were photos. It was harder to notice much else when the glassy eyes of mutilated faces were peering out at her from the photographs. That sound effect scared the heck out of me. With trembling fingers, Melody turned them over. Completely different people in completely different places with only one thing in common: the strange symbol on their bodies. It's the same symbol. Melody had never seen it before. Is it from some kind of cult? I'll have to ask Ruth. She definitely knows more about religion than I do. And it'll be good to take a photo of it. I doubt I can accurately describe it in words. Yeah. Melody chose a photo that didn't show much beyond the symbol itself and took a picture of it with her phone. Now I'll have something to show Ruth. It'll be easier for me to find some information on the internet too. Took a photo, so affect the plot. Carefully returning the stack to his place, Melody opened a thin folder containing information about the case. According to the records, the body of a young man was found in a restaurant full of people. And only he, like Emma's sister, had the symbol burned into his chest. In other photos, the symbol appears to have been cut out. But she didn't really want to go through all of them just to make sure of that. Melody carefully closed the box and decided what she would ask Mikkel about this directly. Since he insists on honesty, we'll have to answer my honest question. What connects them to these cases, and what are they trying to find out? Melody's about to leave the room, but instead she approached the table again. He'll probably tell me about the case, but definitely not about Raphael, or about where he got the pendant from. I can only find that out for myself. Carefully opening the journal, Melody tried to flip to the latest entry. I'm just checking to see if he wrote anything yesterday. The pages were completely filled with writing from top to bottom as if the line spaces weren't enough. The words were accompanied by drawing strange symbols intertwined, forming the same sign from the photographs. Melody flipped the page. Fear chased away her embarrassment, leaving only a desire to shield herself from what she had just seen. What is that? A pair of red eyes stared up at her, formed by incoherent, intricate patterns that looked like tangles of hair. Melody kept turning the pages until in the midst of the chaos, regular handwriting finally appeared. Just a glimpse of human consciousness in the abyss of madness. More and more, I think about what you have doomed me to. All my life, I've tried not to notice the bright colors around me lest I learn too much. I was afraid that someday a random beautiful flower would make me renounce my own destiny. I closed my eyes so I would see only darkness. And I've avoided the day for so long that I think I've grown to love the night. And now I don't want to die, Father. What does this mean? She had not time to think of an answer before she heard soft footsteps coming down the hall. Damn it, already? You were spent too long! I wouldn't have done the journal. You were here for the cases. Putting the journal and pencil back on the table, Melody rushed around the room. Where am I supposed to hide? There's barely anything in here. Melody ran to the bathroom and left the door slightly ajar. I hope it's not Raphael. As soon as the footsteps stop, I'll go back to my room. But her hopes were dashed when David entered the room, followed by a melancholy Raphael. David's loud voice helped cover the sound of her closing the bathroom door. Shit, what do I do now? The open bathroom window was the only viable option. I wonder if jumping from the second floor is fatal? Sneaking over to the window, Melody looked down. God, if I die like this, what a ridiculous way to go out. The window felt like it was even higher off the ground than before, but then she noticed the ivy covering the wall. The rush of adrenaline drowned out the voices from the next room. Melody had lost all interest in their conversation. I have to get out of here without getting caught. She dangled her legs out the window, then turned around and grabbed the seal. Okay, it's not that high. Melody placed her foot on the thick greenery, trying to feel around for support. Lo and behold, she found it. As she inched down, she suddenly felt the ivy slowly peel away from the wall. No, no, no. Slowly, like snapping strings, the stems tore off one by one. She tried to grab the windowsill again, but it was already out of reach. Time seemed to slow down. Melody heard her final hope for a safe landing snap with the last vine. She glanced at the window. She looked down and was horrified at the distance between her and the ground. It's too high. This is gonna hurt. And a moment later, she felt the terror of free fall. The wind chilled her body as she fell. The ground was approaching too fast. Melody had closed her eyes and braced for impact, but instead she felt someone's arms catch her. Oh no, you busted. Raphael? But there was no one there a second ago. I saw him. He was definitely in the room. It couldn't have been someone else. It was Raphael. But how did he get here? David looked out the bedroom window. Well, did you catch her? Judging by his cheerful expression, he was very amused by the situation. I'm coming down now. Using the stairs, like everyone else. Molly turned her stunned gaze back to Raphael. He was in the bedroom. He couldn't have gotten downstairs that fast. How did he manage to get here before me? But how did you... I thought I saw you come in... Molly cut herself off mid-sentence. Come in where? His room? Worse than that danger has passed, Millie noticed that he was still holding her. He stood firmly on his feet, looking as if catching people falling out of the windows was something he did every day. I should probably get down. Well, we've given everyone else a scene. Melody wrapped her arms around Raphael's neck. She looked at his slightly disappointed face. Is he disappointed in me? I won't embarrass you any further. I'll just ask you one thing. Is it really worse to be caught than to hit the ground? Not knowing how to answer, Melody shrank into his hold. She wrapped her arms tighter around him as if afraid he would drop her in retaliation. There's no right answer to his question. All of them make me look like an idiot. Yeah, she did a lot of snooping that she probably didn't have no business doing. However, they're being very fucking shady. I'm just saying. They're being extremely shady. Like, I don't know. The tiptoeing around, the lying to her face, it's all a bit much. Okay? Like, if you don't want to have somebody part of the full team, then why invite them to live here? Okay? She offered to live somewhere else. You told her to stay here. So, I mean, if you didn't want someone fully in the loop, then maybe keep them fully out of the loop. You know what I mean? So, obviously she's going to be suspicious. I don't know what they expected. Pushed her fingers against his neck, causing goosebumps to rise on his skin. Maybe this is the first miracle. Raphael was there when I needed him most. An inexplicable miracle. Okay. I'll definitely think about that later. Right now, she wanted to know how this mysterious man was feeling. How he was willing to overlook her intrusion, but couldn't seem to take his eyes off her. No, being caught isn't scary at all. It's actually pretty nice. A faint blush appeared on his face. You're joking, but it's not funny. It's a miracle you didn't break anything. It's a miracle you were there to catch me. Raphael's melancholy eyes captivated her with their sincere concern and warmth. These can't be the eyes of a madman. Or of a criminal. Next time, just find me and ask me directly, okay? I did try to find you. However, when you came around, it was very suspicious, and I wouldn't want to talk to him either at that point. You're not that easy to find, you know? You didn't really try, Melody. Huh? Now he was more worried about her well-being than the fact that she had broken into his room made her feel strangely warm inside. He's so cute when he pretends to be angry. A strand of hair fell across his gloomy face and she tucked a... I love how we keep calling him gloomy. We know that he's gloomy. Oh my god. Tucked it carefully behind his ear. He's blushing so much. He's acting like he's the one who got caught in my bedroom. Melody lowered her hand back to his neck. This time, she deliberately ran her cold fingers slowly over his skin. What's happening? The man's grip tightened. He pressed her closer to his chest. He's been holding me for quite a while, but he doesn't look like he's getting tired. And he caught me so effortlessly. There was power hidden in that seemingly fragile body, restrained and exciting. Then Melody realized that it was time to get down. The hand at her waist was getting too hot, and the man's chest heaved more noticeably than it had at the beginning. Can you let go? Raphael didn't immediately realize what he was being asked to do. He stared into Melody's eyes, mesmerized. And then, hastily but very carefully, he put her back on her feet. He clenched his hands into a tight fist as if blaming himself for his momentary weakness. Thank you. I can see that you're afraid of something, Melody. Yeah. Let me prove to you that I would never hurt you. He doesn't know that you overheard him, and he's sincerely worried about you. Would he not be worried if I had overheard him? But to be fair, She was snooping. He has a right to know why I don't trust him. I saw a pendant in your hands. The same one that Emma's sister had. Emma? The woman whose sister was killed in the club. Raphael spoke slowly, choosing his words carefully. Felonia gave this pendant to David, and he gave it to me. If you recall, I study objects. The pendant only ended up with me because I had to do my job. His explanation made sense. Should have guessed that and avoided this whole thing. Okay, I'll be blunt. I feel like you guys are keeping something from me, and I don't like it. Secrets breed speculation. I hope you understand that. That hardly justifies my actions, but still. Raphael suddenly spoke very quietly and quickly. I'm not your enemy, Melody, but an enemy does exist. And what you need to realize is that you don't have to go looking for him. Why? Because he is too strong for you. Are you talking about a human or some kind of demon? Evil doesn't care whether you believe in it or not. It has many faces, but the grief it brings about is real. Let unimaginable pain and death become your new faith while you are here. And if you do not follow behind us, if you choose to walk your own path, only one outcome awaits you. The beast will devour you. It seemed like they're talking about someone very specific. So... And like they know who it is, but they can't get a grasp on them. They're just kind of following that person's trail right now. Okay, that was a long one too. Or maybe because I had so many questions. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm just like... My mind, everything. It's like my story makes me, my thought processes go. I'm like... I'm questioning people around me. I'm questioning her. What is happening here now? Wow. Okay. And I'm still interested in her past. I keep like sprinkling it in every now and again, and I'm just like, something's going on there. Anyway, I'm enjoying this a lot. I kind of want to play another episode, but it's very late. Oh, God. It's midnight. Okay, I need to edit this and package it and ship it off. And take my daughter to school in the morning. Okay, anyway. So, I'm going to end this episode, but I really like this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and try the like button to love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye!